Trainer cards define the metagame that they are released in. Today we're looking at the top 10 trainer cards released in Scarlet and Violet 151. Starting with number 10, Antique Old Amber. Antique Old Amber is an item card that reads, play this card as if it were a 60 HP basic colorless Pokemon. This card can't be affected by any special conditions and can't retreat. At any time during your turn, you may discard this card from play. Antique Old Amber comes in at number 10 because the Aerodactyl from Pokemon 151 can become a powerful anti-meta card to play. Most decks get Stage 2 EX Pokemon into play by playing Rare Candy onto the basic Pokemon you want to evolve. The Aerodactyl from 151 has the attack Devolution Ray that does 100 damage for 2 colorless energy and reads, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an evolved Pokemon, devolve it by putting the highest stage evolution card on it into your opponent's hand. Once devolved, the basic Pokemon it turns into has less than 100 HP, resulting in a knockout and a very efficient way to deal with massive Stage 2 EX Pokemon. With all the resources involved in setting up Stage 2 EX Pokemon, this could set your opponent back far enough to win you the game. If you have Antique Old Amber in your active spot and want to use a different Pokemon, it can also be used as a pivot by simply discarding it with its effect. Coming in at number 9, we have Big Balloon. Big Balloon is a Pokemon tool card that reads, the Stage 2 Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost. As more and more Stage 2 EX Pokemon come into the game, having the option to give them free retreat cost can make a massive difference in how decks are built. Having a Pokemon with free retreat cost allows you to have a pivot when your opponent knocks out one of your Pokemon. You can place the free retreat Pokemon into the active spot to start your turn and choose the optimal path and switch into the optimal Pokemon to attack with for free. Not having to use energy or item cards such as Switch and Escape Rope to retreat, and instead having a permanent switching option could see significant play. Number 8 on this list, Rigid Band. Rigid Band is a Pokemon tool card that reads, the Stage 1 Pokemon this card is attached to takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Decks are built to do specific amounts of damage for what is powerful in the current metagame. Hitting 280 damage for knocking out V-Star, V's, EX, and Stage 1 EX Pokemon is the current optimal damage. If Rigid Band prevents your opponent from taking a one-hit knockout, it immediately puts you ahead in the prize trade to win the game. Number 7 on this list, Giovanni's Charisma. Giovanni's Charisma is a supporter that reads, put an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon into their hand. If you do, attach an energy card from your hand to your active Pokemon. Energy acceleration is one of the most powerful effects in the game. Attacking sooner is always going to make your deck better. Current energy acceleration supporters require specific scenarios. Raihan requires a Pokemon to be knocked out. Melanie only allows you to attach water energy to a Pokemon V. Gardenia's Vigor only accelerates grass energy. Giovanni's Charisma can be played with any energy type and slows your opponent's setup of another attacker by removing an energy from their board. Number 6, Cycling Road. Cycling Road is a stadium trainer card that reads, once during each player's turn, that player may discard a basic energy card from their hand in order to draw a card. This is the same effect as one of the most powerful cards in the format, Radiant Greninja, but Radiant Greninja allows you to get 2 cards, where Cycling Road only allows you to get 1. Greninja is placed into decks just for its draw power. Even though it helps your opponent, Cycling Road could be a good replacement for Radiant Greninja in decks that value bench space, such as Gardevoir EX, that is trying to set up multiple Ralts, Kirlia, and Gardevoir cards as quickly as possible. With more and more Stage 2 Pokemon entering the format, bench space is going to be at a much higher premium. Removing the Greninja from your deck also prevents your opponent from using Mew EX to copy Radiant Greninja's Moonlight Shuriken attack against you to take out your setup Pokemon. Coming in at number 5, we have Erica's Invitation. Erica's Invitation is a supporter that reads, your opponent reveals their hand and you put a basic Pokemon you find there onto the opponent's bench. If you put a Pokemon onto their bench in this way, switch that Pokemon into their active spot. Erica's Invitation pairs well in lock and control decks to pull Pokemon with a large retreat cost into the active spot, or simply to pull support Pokemon such as Lumineon V and Mew EX from your opponent's hand for an easy 2-prize knockout and to stop them from utilizing their powerful effects. Coming in at number 4, we have Bill's Transfer. Bill's Transfer is a supporter that reads, look at the top 8 cards of your deck. You may reveal any number of Pokemon you find there and put them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. Historically, Pokemon Search supporters haven't been very powerful since they do the same thing as item cards. Even with the potential to possibly draw up to 8 cards with Bill's transfer, you can also have no Pokemon in the 8 cards you look at, resulting in a waste of your once per turn supporter. With no limit in the amount you can use, item search cards such as Quick Ball, Nest Ball, and Ultra Ball will keep Bill's transfer from seeing play. Number 3, Energy Sticker. Energy Sticker is an item card that reads, flip a coin, if heads, attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to one of your benched Pokemon. Energy Sticker could be a must-play staple card you just have to gamble with. If you have it, you win. If you don't, you're at an extreme disadvantage, similar to Battle VIP Pass. With low-cost Pokemon attacks, such as Blastoise EX's Twin Cannons, Charizard EX's Burning Darkness, and Raikou V's Lightning Rondo, flipping heads with Energy Sticker can allow you to attack with an additional attachment for hand during your turn. Setting up attackers in one turn is extremely powerful. Number 2 on this list is Grabber. Grabber is my favorite card from the Pokemon 151 set because it has so much versatility. Grabber is an item card that reads, your opponent reveals their hand and you put a Pokemon you find there on the bottom of their deck. Being able to see your opponent's hand is an extremely powerful effect. Also, being able to take a Pokemon card they need for their next turn out of their hand is potentially devastating to their setup and overall game. Knowing if they have a way to bump Path to the Peak, if you need to play a hand disruption card, and seeing the possible plays they have for their next turn allows you to set up the most optimal course of action. Taking a support Pokemon out of their hand, such as Lumineon V, or possibly even taking out their strongest attacker in a Charizard EX and sending it to the bottom of their deck, can single-handedly win you a game. Number 1 on this list, the most powerful trainer card from Pokemon 151, is Switch. Switch is a reprint, but is still by far the most powerful trainer card printed in Pokemon 151. Switch enables you to change your active Pokemon without paying its retreat cost. Currently, Switch is one of the most common cards in the standard format. Most decks have at least one copy of Switch in the list to prevent your opponent from trapping a high retreat cost Pokemon in your active spot, or moving a heavily damaged Pokemon out of your active spot to deny prize cards to your opponent. The longtime staple in the standard format returns in Pokemon 151, ensuring that we're going to see it for the foreseeable future. Do you think that these were the 10 most powerful trainer cards from Pokemon 151? Let me know down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.